Coming to paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, A Thorn in My Side. The man who rules the world takes on an agent from the CIA from the Black Boule in this action-packed all-new John Haynes series adventure. Pre-order your copy of John Haynes' A Thorn in My Side at Amazon.com and other online booksellers. Better get the coleslaw, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue. A lot of people are reporting that they're seeing DC Comics at Dollar Tree stores. And they're reporting that they're seeing these cardboard displays that feature DC Comics in plastic bags for $1.25. And that has a lot of comic fans believing that comics are returning to retail. However, this whole comic book display at Dollar Tree stores is not a positive sign of comics returning to retail if you understand the publishing business. No, what's happening at Dollar Tree stores is that DC Comics is basically looking to go out here and liquidate old stock. Now, in the publishing industry, books that are unsold are called remainders, and these remainders are basically sold to discount retailers at a reduced price. And as they are sold to that retailer, basically what the publisher is looking to do is go out here and try to eke out a profit on these books that basically would be unsold, and hope to basically try to get whatever little money they can get for product that would basically wind up being considered to be shrink. So what's happening here at DC Comics is that they've got such a backlog of old comic books from the eras of DC Rebirth, DC's New 52, and the current dawn of DC, that these books have been sitting in warehouses for years. And as they've been sitting in warehouses for years, they have become depreciating assets. And as they've become depreciating assets, what Warner Brothers Discovery wants to do is basically liquidate those assets. And as they liquidate those assets, they will basically sell them to whoever would buy them at this discount price, and sell them at this discount price in order to get whatever little money they can get, basically just trying to recoup the printing cost at this point. So what they're doing right now is basically taking these old unsold DC Comics, putting them in plastic bags, and then as they put them in plastic bags, selling them to Dollar Tree for pennies on the dollar. And Dollar Tree is basically putting these cardboard displays in the store to sell these comics at a reduced price from the retail price that they originally had. So this comic that you're seeing at the Dollar Tree originally was sold at a comic shop for $3.99 to even $4.99, but is now being sold at Dollar Tree for $1.25, and sold at a Dollar Tree for that $1.25 in an effort to try to get some money off these remaindered books, in an effort to try to, again, make some money as related to Warner Brothers Discovery, as related to their business. Because right now, Warner Brothers Discovery is struggling as related to its business. In 2023, it had its worst year at the box office, and they still struggle to go out here and make movies that are hits at the box office, and still struggle as related to their other businesses. And they're hoping to just go out here and sell these comics to Dollar Tree in an effort to try to make a little bit of money to recoup their printing costs. So a lot of these comic fans out here, they're thinking, oh, comics are at Dollar Tree, this is a good sign. No, it's not a good sign at all when your product that had a retail price of $3.99 to $4.99 is now being sold at a discount retailer. No, what's happening here is that the product basically has lost value, and lost value to the point where the business owner basically is looking to just recoup whatever little money that they can. So this is not a good indicator for the comic book business at all. No, if anything, it's a sign that the business is getting progressively worse as related to the comic book industry, because again, these were books that originally were meant to be sold to comic book stores in the direct market. And part of the direct market is that the comics that are sold are considered to be non-returnable. And if the comics are not really being sold to the comic shops as non-returnable and they're remaining in the warehouse as remainders, that's a really bad sign, because it's showing that the comics are being printed, but the retailers are not able to even go out here and make orders for them. The retailers are not even able to make enough orders for them, and that basically is what is a domino effect, because what's happened over the last 8 to 10 years is that we've seen lots of comic shops close. And as we've seen lots of comic shops close all across the country, because we've gone from 10,000 comic book stores in the 90s to 3,000 comic book stores at 2018, and in 2024 we are now at 300 comic book stores, and all of these back issue books basically being in the hands of these Dollar Tree retailers, again, is a bad sign, because it's a sign that we have a saturated market with so much product, and the product basically isn't reaching the customers at all. Now, some people will sit there and say, oh, there's a chance that kids will go out here and pick up these comics, and there might be a possibility that some may pick them up. But the actual thing that may happen is that people may just basically wind up ignoring these comics, or if they pick up one comic and just see all of the blood and guts and gore that are a part of modern comics, they'll get turned off. So this is not going to be something that's going to get new readers into comics, because DC Comics at this point is a complete mess. DC Comics continuity is basically really confusing when you consider we've gone through multiple eras since Dan Didio took over. We went from the end of the classic DC universe to this new 52, to this convergence, to the rebirth, and then the dawn of DC. So all of this product being on the shelves is going to be very confusing for a new customer. It's going to be very confusing for a new customer to be able to try to sort through this mess, especially if it's a new reader. And this is not going to, again, be anything that gets people incentivized to go out here and look at new comics, because the whole thing is these are old comics. Many of these comics date back as far back as 2011, and basically prove my point about how the New 52 basically did damage to the DC brand, because ever since we got the implementation of the New 52, this has led to people not being interested in DC Comics or even interested in going to comic book stores. And as a result, what has happened is that the value of these comics has gone so far down that now we have comics, yes, they're back at retail, but they're not back in a good way. No, these remainders basically are a sign that the comic book industry is in a bad place, because when you have publications basically being sold as remainders, it's a sign that your business is not doing well. No, it's a sign that the business is basically looking to liquidate assets, and liquidate assets that basically would have supposed to have been speculated at value, because that's what comics used to have. There used to be a lot of speculatory value, and this basically shows that there is no value in comics, because now, if we really look at the median age of most comic fans, the median age of a comic book fan is 50 years old, and they're the only ones who could basically understand that continuity. But most comic fans who are over 50 are only interested in the classic continuity, so many of these books may basically wind up rotting on shelves, because most of the kids out here aren't interested in DC characters or even Marvel characters outside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe to a point, but they're even tired of that. So unless it's manga or anything related to manga, they really don't care about these books. And these remaindered books basically are something that Dollar Tree can basically accept as a small cost, and possibly take a loss on as related to retail, because their business primarily is moving other dollar items. I mean, there's so many other things that they move, like toys and definitely snacks. They have the best snacks at Dollar Tree. And there's other stuff that they can move, that they can put the comics in for a while, and if they don't sell, they basically will be gone. But when I look at the whole business as related to Dollar Tree, this is not the retailer you want to be in, because this retailer, again, can return these books, and these books basically are on their way to the landfill. So the way that they, again, comics are in a bad place, and in a bad place because, again, if you're in a Dollar Tree, it's not a good place that you want to be. No, that's not a place you want to be, because the only books that are moving there are the crossword puzzles and the other kinds of books. But I've been to Dollar Tree, and again, comics at Dollar Tree, as related to how they're being there, these are not new comics. I mean, if this was new comics, it'd be a different story. But with these being old grab bag comics, this is not a good sign. It's a sign that the comics publishing industry is basically breathing its last breath, and basically might be ending by the near end of this decade. Now, my first full comic, John Haynes at Death's Door, is available on Lulu.com in paperback, and if you want to get a copy of that comic, you can pick up one for the same price as the 2022 Kickstarter. And if you want to check out my first full digital comic, Esteem No Good Deed, you can find that comic on Kindle for 99 cents in digital format, or you can pick up a paper copy in the Esteem series book, Esteem Blast from the Past. And if you want to check out all the characters in the SJS Direct universe, you can pick up their stories in the ISIS series, the Esteem series, the John Haynes series, the Goth Spinsterella trilogy, or my vampire novel, Eternal Night, my business novel, Recipe for Success, my sorority novel, The Thetas. And you can find all of those books in the SJS Direct universe on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them at other online booksellers like Draft to Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you want to see me make more videos taking the comic book industry to the barbecue, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available on Lulu. John Haynes at Death's Door. The man who rules the world takes on the Greek god of death in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes comic book. Get your copy of the first John Haynes comic at Lulu.com today. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Esteem Horror in the Hamptons. The aspiring angel tries to escape a house of horrors in this action-packed, all-new Esteem series adventure. Get your copy of Esteem Horror in the Hamptons in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.